Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for coming out today. There is a lot going on in our city. We're seeing all kinds of momentum and $13 billion worth of construction and investments taking place and lots of new jobs. So just this week opened the Kentucky International Convention Center downtown after $220 million invested in that. So our city's got great momentum, and you can take a look at kind of the new buildings that we opened, but I think equally important is the historic buildings that we're able to preserve and restore and repurpose for future use. When you think about kind of the poster child for that now is right behind us. The Charles D. Jacob Elementary School was built 106 years ago in 1912, and then it was added on to in 1932, closed in 91, and then housed school administrative offices until 2005. And this building was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2012. And then it sat for a while, and it was really not the jewel that it should have been. But boy, are we glad to be here today to say, once again, Jacob Elementary School is back to the glory for which it deserves. We broke ground on this project in February 6, 2017, so about 18 months ago. And we really appreciate it, Metro, when we can take older properties like this and preserve and then adaptively reuse them. And I know if you haven't been inside yet, you'll see that what beautifully has been done here. And that's why we work with partners that are really good at this work. I want to thank Bywater Development Group for the wonderful skill that you guys have. We'll be hearing from David here in shortly. This building now features 51 new affordable housing units for seniors. Think about that. It's kind of nice, the circle of life, right? We were in elementary school, and now we have affordable housing units for seniors. Energy-efficient design and features help us further our city's sustainability goals, and then it aligns with a lot of the other things that we're doing as a city. We've been really focused on affordable housing for decades here in our country. The type of investment that should be made in affordable housing has not been made. So at the city level, what we've done over the 4 most recent budget cycles, including this current fiscal year, we've budgeted almost $42 million just in the Louisville Affordable Housing Trust Funds in a revolving loan pool called Louisville Cares to preserve and increase affordable housing. I want to thank our Metro Council team for being such great advocates and leaders in that initiative. Just 1 mile west from here, we have the Waterson Lakeview, which is a renovation of 184 affordable housing units as well. So that's great for us. And then Habitat for Humanity recently completed a home just across the street from Jacob School. I don't know if Rob Locke is here or not. Rob, come on up here. You've always do good work. Rob Locke, CEO of Habitat for Humanity. Love to embarrass him. Good work, man. Good work. So lots of folks to thank here. Bywater Development Group, Bywater's financial partners, PNC Bank, Kentucky Housing Corporation, Louisville Metro Office of Housing and Community Development, and the neighbors. Thank the neighbors here for keeping up with construction and hanging in there when this building, unfortunately, attracted folks that we didn't really want in the neighborhood or anywhere. So thank you for your patience, and I hope you're pleased with what you're seeing here now with your new neighbors. And then I understand we have somebody that went to school here that is living here now, too. Is that right? Yes, sir. How about you, man? Let's hear it for you. Congratulations. That is coming full circle. Great job. I want to recognize a few folks here, too. Major Josh Judah with LMPD. LMPD does a great job every day. Major, thank you for what you're up to. Councilwoman Vicki Welch is not speaking, but she's with us here today and has just been a great public servant. And then State Representative Mackenzie Cantrell wanted to say hello before she had to get back to work. Thank you very much. We have an outstanding councilwoman in this district, Mary Ann Butler. This woman has dedicated, she's a young lady, but she's dedicated decades of her life to public service. She's exiting elected office here in January. This will be one of your legacy projects because you've been here from the very beginning shepherding this through. So this is a happy day for the community that would not have happened without your great leadership. So please welcome Mary Ann Butler.
Thank you, Mayor. And you're so right. In 2005, I had just been elected to office, and this became vacant. So I got to know a lot of the neighbors around here really well. We had a couple of projects that wanted to start that didn't get off the ground. And I just continually kept knocking on the door and going over to community development and trying to find someone. And Bywater came in from St. Louis, and I cannot thank them enough to come in and do this. We had local people that wouldn't touch it, and you came in and put your toe in the water, and it looks fabulous. And I can't thank you enough. And Gabe Fritz, he did a great job the whole time shepherding it through and with the tours. So I'm just so grateful to both of you and to the neighbors, because like the mayor said, it was definitely a test on your patience as we tried to get a project going. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Marianne. David Dodson has been referred to. He's the CEO of Bywater Development Group. He's going to share a few words with us. David?
Good morning, everyone. For those of you who may not know us, Bywater Development Group specializes in the development of affordable housing throughout the Midwest and southeastern regions of the country. And we particularly focus on projects that have community development and revitalization impacts. So the Jacob School certainly fit in that category. About 4.5 years ago, when we first visited Jacob School, we immediately saw a couple of things. First, we saw a very impressive historic building complex full of unrealized potential, formerly one of the most important assets in the heart of the neighborhood, but which had fallen into a deteriorated condition because of its vacancy and vandalism and et cetera. We also saw that the years of abandonment and decline were beginning to have a chilling effect on the larger neighborhood and the surrounding community. And if this decline should continue unchecked, that there would be long-term negative effects on public safety, property values, and quality of life in the community. So we were hooked. We rolled up our sleeves and began to dig in and developed great partnerships with local people to help along the way. But what we were certain in that process of was a couple of things. Number one, the historic preservation of this school complex could help reverse the trajectory of decline in the neighborhood and once again emerge as a positive anchor for the community. And number two, that the school complex was really perfectly suited to be adaptively reused as affordable senior housing, providing great and affordable opportunities for housing for the growing number of seniors in the Louisville area. Now our team has a little bit more work to complete before we call ourselves 100% done. A few details and furnishings on the interior, et cetera. But today, we join you to celebrate what we believe and fervently hope is the beginning of the fulfillment of those revitalization goals. It's been a true honor for us at Bywater to be part of this great project, but we wouldn't be here today without the tremendous level of partnership and support from so many key parties and team members. And I'd like to briefly acknowledge some of those. Certainly Louisville Metro government, the entire staff, and especially Mayor Fisher and Councilwoman Butler for their visionary leadership on matters like neighborhood revitalization, which opens the door for us to do things like this. The Kentucky Housing Corporation, which awarded the tax credits that enabled us to finance the project. The Kentucky Heritage Council, which administers the federal and state historic tax credits, and of course PNC Bank, who's providing the investment and some loans on the project. Some of our key development team members, many of which are great new friends from the local community, include Kersey and Kersey Architects, Altman Charter Company, the general contractor, Mindell and Scott Associates, Joanne Weeder, our historic consultant, the Housing Partnership, Robert Weiss, and Beacon Property Management, which we think we found a real true partner with Beacon, and they share our common values and goals with this project. And last but not least, I have to acknowledge my partner, Aaron Burnett, who's hiding back here somewhere. But he, Aaron's vision, determination, and old school work ethic really propels all the work of Bywater Development. And on a final note, I would like to extend our deepest appreciation to the residents of the Jacob neighborhood for being engaged in the process of community development, of which this is a part. And we sincerely thank those now that all call Jacob School home. many of whom have joined us here this morning. Thank you all.
Thanks again, David. Like Councilwoman Butler said, it takes a uniquely skilled group to come forward and be interested and do something like this. So we really appreciate you. You're an honorary Louisvillian now, so good job to you. Want to also say, Gabe Fritz, you and your team have done a great job on this. We appreciate that. The whole Develop Louisville team, Jeff O'Brien, Mary Ellen Wiederwall, I see her here. She's in charge of Louisville Forward, which is over all of the workforce and real estate efforts for the city. So thanks to the entire city team as well. But as you're seeing, it takes a lot of people to pull these together, because it's not just you come in here, you invest, and then your numbers work. It takes lots of people to contribute to make it happen. So Tracy Thurston is the Managing Director of Multifamily Programs and Asset Management at the Kentucky Housing Corporation, and she'll explain where they fit in. Tracy, thank you.
Good morning. A little warm out here this morning, yeah? On behalf of Kentucky Housing Corporation staff and board of directors, we are very proud to be here today for the grand opening of Jacobs School Apartments. I get the honor of attending events like these as Kentucky Housing Corporation is the administrator of the low-income housing tax program for the Commonwealth. KHC allocated $755,000 in tax credits, which was leveraged by PNC Bank into over $7 million in equity to make this possible. Like Mayor Fisher said, this wouldn't be possible without a group of partners that come together to make this project work. So I'd like to thank the contributions and expertise by many of our partners, Bywater Development Group, Housing Partnership, Inc., Louisville Metro Office of Housing and Community Development, and PNC Real Estate. Congratulations to all the partners, and especially to all the residents that now have a quality home here at Jacobs School Apartments. Thank you.
Then you got to finance one of these things as well. So it takes a skilled banking group to do that. Ryan Edwards is the Vice President, Regional Manager of Originations for PNC. So, Ryan, we thank you and PNC.
Good morning, everyone. On this fine Kentucky morning, I will be brief in the heat. So a lot of it's been covered. A couple things I'd like to mention. This was, Tracy mentioned the low-income housing tax credit, which is the main financial driver to make a project like this happen. That was a big lift, and we actually did have a partner, another very strong local bank with us, Republic Bank, shared in the financing of this project. So I'd like to thank Republic Bank. David, it's been mentioned, but you all took a project that other groups couldn't figure out how to make the annex, this is the annex, and the original building work together. They couldn't make the budget work. They couldn't bring the right partners together. You and Aaron did that. Thank you. Very much appreciate, on behalf of PNC Bank and myself, being a part of this project. It's been a fun ride. It's been great to see it very excited to turn it over to the residents so they have a beautiful historic home to live in for many years to come. Tracy, Kentucky Housing Corporation, getting on board with the limited resources that are tax credits, seeing the viability of this project, seeing the strong local support. Thank you. And then last, Mayor Fisher, you mentioned the $42 million in affordable housing. I know your goal to provide quality affordable housing for every resident of Louisville. With projects like this one, some of the other ones you've mentioned, it feels like we're finally getting some minimum after many years. We're starting to move the needle. Yeah. So thank you for your team's support, Metro government support. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. I mean, the reason why we focus on affordable housing is if you've ever been housing insecure, if you don't know where you're going to be going home that night to lay your head down, or you've been within this much of missing a rent payment, that's a lousy feeling. And you can't have a productive life if you don't have a place to live. And that's why we're focused on affordable housing, so that everybody can have a place where they can feel secure. And we're going to continue to do that. Thank you.
I want to talk a little bit about the final piece of the financing puzzle, which is often historic rehabilitation tax credits. The Kentucky Heritage Council serves as a state historic preservation office, and we administer state and federal tax credit programs, and that was another piece of the puzzle that helped this gap financing come together. We're so pleased to be here today to be able to see this beautiful building and this critically needed housing in this neighborhood. And as David said, and others have said, historic preservation often, when you preserve one building and you invest in it, that often radiates out into the neighborhoods, and we see that happen over and over again. And just a little bit about historic tax credits and how they help neighborhoods revitalize. Just this last year, for the 2018 tax credit pool, our agency reviewed 42 tax credit applications from Jefferson County, and with eligible expenses that totaled $51 million worth of investment. Now, 3/4 of those tax credits were for owner-occupied residential properties and nonprofits, and the rest were commercial projects like Jacob's School. So many of those tax credits did go to houses that were located in historic neighborhoods that were listed in the National Register or located in the National Register District. So that's something available to anyone, any resident or someone who's doing a commercial property. If it qualifies, you can claim tax credits for it through our office, and that's something that we're really proud and pleased to do. So anyway, kudos to David and Bywater for this beautiful project and for having us here today. We're proud to stand with you, and thanks to the city and to the residents and to the others who made this happen. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we're going to now have an open house, which is great, and some of the residents have opened up their doors so we can check out some of the units as well, so we really appreciate that. Councilwoman Butler, again, I want to say thank you for the extraordinary work that you've done to shepherd this to this place. For those that know Marianne Butler, I mean, she has a combination of persistence and vision that really is extraordinary. So it's not just this project, but many that you've done for the city. And it turns out that she went to kindergarten here at Jacob as well. So this is another kind of serendipitous full circle here. So thanks everybody again for your all's participations. It's been a great team effort to pull this together.